Well, this could take a while. Oh, good morning. This could take a while, but luckily unluckily, we have a few jobs to do anyway. So put the timer on. See you in about half an hour. Oh wow! Look at that New Holland auto steer out there. Wow, so straight. Oh, folk. There you are, Mr. New Holland. There's your auto steer for you. Yeah, I think you'll be full enough. I don't want it running over. That's what the alarm tells me, that it's been long enough. It's time, as they said in 1972. Turned out it wasn't time, but anyway. Very good. Well, how's that? Looking more professional every day. But no, it's still got a ways to go, but this is, as a temporary setup, it's actually, I'll make a proper cradle for that and a battery and to loop the hose up properly, but I actually think it's going to be pretty good. Just got to put a regulator in and a pressure gauge and maybe a bigger pump, because these are El Cheapo, that you can get a better idea what you're putting on, but it actually does a good job. It does a really good job, and not as messy as in the hopper. So I'll put the Seed Grow Plus crap on and see if that helps things. At least this auger's a bit lighter, although I don't know whether I can do it one-handed. We'll see. Oh yeah, baby. Yeah, I knew it was worth bringing this one up here to get our seed that's stored in this old field bin. We've got more Vixen, but we better get, this has been here longer and our field bin's not ideal. Oh, someone's going up the road now. Going ripping, rolling, renovating. Who the hell is that? Doing something. Alright, let's get this in here. It's on where I've already sown, but oh well. What are you going to do? It won't hurt it much. It's only just on the edge. Alright, now let's get this out of here and go and hook onto that fuel trailer for that's put it, start it first. Jeez, come on, man. Wheel around here, put this on, then get the truck. It's all happening. So many jobs. Hammer down, hammer down. Well, I really did have to hammer down because of this burr to get this thing off. The old winch hitch, handy device. So I'm sick of this, and it's the same on that other one. I'm going to fix this problem. That's one. Fixed. Now for you. Wow, that's just succulent. Absolutely succulent. Ah, lemon chicken, brother. Oh wow, like a cork in the ocean. Well, not really like a cork in the ocean, but close enough. It excites me as much as a cork in the ocean to get this close. Well, that's kind of beautiful. Perfect. Whatever. You get the idea. Alright, let's get to it. push it in too far to start with, just sort of stop it, putting it through too fast, so we're going to apply enough of this stuff. That's probably the only shortfall. It's not, perhaps doesn't pump enough, but it's like poetry in motion. You have to watch out for that belt though. Good lord. I think I might move this to the other side. Much safer. Now I'm not going to get my head ripped off by that belt. Can't whistle, but won't you just have a look at that sexy Vixen. Wow, Vixen wheat. Isn't that hot? So hot. Anyway, it's full enough. Well, it's pretty full anyway, but doesn't need to be chockers because I've got to come back and get more anyway because the truckload won't be quite enough. So we'll probably likely after the second fill come home in daylight and fill it up, so don't have to be stuffing around with this in the dark. Same for the fert. Hell, every time out of bloody level. So annoying. So needs a lot of work done in this yard because it's all bloody ruts and rolls and everything. Whoa, we're a bit close to that side. Oh, gonna miss. Miss is as good as a mile. But is a miss as good as a miles? Probably not. There goes Mrs. Farmer and the kinder, Kate and Cord. Now to get back to work. Morning! Oh my god, it looks dry through this. Remember, they're talking about possible rain in a week or so. We'll see. Anyway. How are you, big fella? Ready for some action? Also, deaf. Funny enough, no one calls it government juice here. Primarily because it's not actually legislated by the government here. It's not a requirement yet. But I'm sure in the future it will be. Alright. Righto! Time to get you all lubed up. That time of the process again. So need 2 hands and greasy and everything, but fun times. Well, for anyone wondering what the underside of a New Holland T7 looks like, that's it. What a view. What a sexy looking view that is. Amazing. There's your front suspension and obviously motor, turbo, all that sort of stuff up there. Solid sort of linkage stuff there. It's actually a pretty solid looking unit underneath. Really packed in. Toit. What a view. Wrong with greasing. Hands. Look at these wonderful, just nice. Just what you want to go touching everything. Luckily I have a paper towel and some soap and some wipes and stuff. Got one thing right, winning. So before we go home with this to get the truck, get the other truck, I noticed the other day there's a tree over the fence down here, which there's a few other ones overhung. They should have been cut back, but at least I can sow under them. But there's one down here over the fence that I've got to go around on, and I'm not going to do that. We're going to cut him up, or cut what's in the road at least, so we don't lose too many acres of ground, because I've got bugger all to begin with and I can't afford to lose anything. You bloody bastard. Look at this. What an absolute, you big prick. Well, we'll soon sort you out. Well, that's you tidied up. Should do more, except we're running out of time and I've run out of fuel. And I just threw this on the back, so I didn't bring all that stuff with me, but we don't have time anyway. So let's get going. Must be something odd about this angle we're on here. They seem to either drift in or out more than we're expecting. Weird. Alright, should be perfect. Someone's about to be out of fuel. I'm guessing in maybe another half a minute. There you have it. That's alright. Knew it was coming. Away again. We'll top this up as well. There should be enough urea slash SOA. Well, there will be enough, because I'm not wasting any more time. I want to get bloody seeding at some stage today. Otherwise it feels like I'm never going to get going. But I knew it was going to be a morning like it. I knew it was a lot of stuff to do. So, just the way it goes. More prep time than actual working. And I swear, it would take about this. I reckon it'd take about the same amount of prep time if I was doing 2 or 3 times the amount. It takes up all the time. Anyway, what are you going to do? Everything has to be done eventually. Well, finally, it looks like a bloke's all set. Bloody hell. Well, we're finally going. It's on the dry side. Well, the top's dry. It is still damp underneath. So, not great, but it's like 100 roaches. Not terrible, not great. But anyway, we'll push on. We will push on. Focus. I'm gonna do a turn one-handed. This will be fun. It's a tight turn, and there's the turn, lift, off, wheel around, skip a row because we don't have to turn super tight, on with the auto steer, on with that, and down with the bar, and into the ground again. And there you have it, a turn. Our auto steer is actually working quite well. Touch wood. And see there, we leave the strips and then come back Might do another round up here and then turn back on it and cover that in. So it just makes it easier turning. You don't have to loop around too much, and just easier on everything. It's getting over it. It's doing well. I don't think it's going to blow away. That's my main concern. There is moisture underneath, not a lot, mind you, but main concern with this sandy stuff, particularly at the top, is that it's a little bit delicate and fragile, but there should be enough beanstalks and a little bit of bloody ryegrass there that was spray topped. It was crop topped, but that together with that bit of material will help hold it together, and just enough moisture and rough enough that it should be able to stand up to a decent breeze, that it won't go drifting all of a sudden. Because that was the issue years ago, was when you worked it up and then maybe you worked back and then maybe you pre-drill some urea, and then you might use some Treflin and then harrow it, and then you go sow it, and it's usually fine down and just ready to drift by the time you go seeding. And of course, if you sow it and it's dry on top and it drifts, there's a chance it'll cut off the emerging plants, and you end up having to re-sow that, and can end up with quite a disaster. I've seen some pretty bad paddocks at times. So that's the main concern, but the less workings now, the better. It certainly makes that less of a possibility. Although we had a huge wind last year when it was dry before rain, and it did test it out a bit, but it didn't hurt anything. There was enough with the press wheels, enough ridges and enough material to hold it together, and it didn't have any ill effect in the long run. So that's how I hope it works out this year. We'll see. Well, what could that mean? Well, gee, I'm glad I'm not spraying today. It's actually quite breezy. Now, look at that. Last minute, mate. Wait, go! Jeez. Okay then. And we're going to turn a bit tighter there. Wow. That's pretty lit. Feels pretty lit. Pretty hectic. There you go. One-handed it is. It's not too bad with two hands. And also on a angle like that, it gets a bit sharp on you, so it does a good job. Leaves a very minimal headland and a pretty pattern all over the paddock, so just winning all over the place. So lift that right up so it's all properly rephased like that. Leave it off, and then we just go back to our row back here, and we can just put that on while we turn, so when we straighten up there'll be seed coming through it, but it does take a little bit to auto steer on, and hear the seed going, and we're in the ground. Feel and see with this we've got to because it's CVT, I might be a touch deep, that should be about right. You got the CVT, you just set your speed, so I've set it 8.8 and that's delivering, well, it depends on 8.4k, yeah, anything from about 8k's to about 8.5, which seems to be doing a nice job. Sometimes you've got to go a bit slower. When I did those beans back, because we're going deep and it was rock hard, it was a bit slower, but and then I've had to slow when the moisture's a bit different. I had to go a bit slower to not the soil throw was a bit too much, but it seems to be doing a good job at the moment, so the speed should be pretty good. But anyway, yeah, you set your speed, so I've got a slower speed if you're doing first round, then it's your full pace there. And you just change it with your thumb wheel here, so you know, there, down, up, and then your cruise is set to that, and it'll alter the revs depending on what's required for the load. So if we're going uphill, it'll rev up, or going down to the side or back, and use as little fuel as possible. A bit like TMS and a Fent. And that's your responsiveness there. So 1, 2, 3. So as New Holland salesman didn't even know what that was for, because initially it didn't really seem to work that well on its base setting because it wasn't sensitive enough. So you put something in the ground and it struggled to rev up until it absolutely had to, and then I discovered that you actually set that up and then it's really responsive. Because when you're on the road, you don't need it to be so responsive, so you just set it back. But so you do that, and then you can set your maximum revs you're allowed to go. But because it doesn't really matter, it's hydraulic, so there's no limit. I just said it can rev it up as much as it likes to suit the transmission, because that's once it runs out of power, it'll start slowing it down. So you can't overload these tractors. And yeah, it works really well. It's very good. And then, that's the other thing too. So set it to about here 1300. So there's at least a few revs when you put it in the ground that you don't. If it's idling, which it will, just get set back to about 800 or 900 revs if you set it right back there. It will be too much of a load on it to put straight in the ground, and also it needs a bit behind it with the hydraulic fan on this seeder. On the old one it didn't need so many, but this one takes a fair bit of oil flow, so that you have enough oil flow to lift at the same time as you got your fan running. You need about 1300 on it, 1400, so, and then that gives you plenty. So that's a rundown of the operation of the T7 Auto Command. Nice, just nice. As an illustration of my last point, so now we're reached a bit of a harder spot in the paddock, and it's she's given a full power here. So you go to, it's got a bit, but she's still got a bit left. Full power is about 40 litres an hour. So well, there you go, 73% load. So, and then it's backing off, and you'll see she's going to back off because it's easier. So this will be a bit of an experiment. Your rear SOA is low, so it'll soon be out. I dare say it'll be out by the time we get to the bottom. So that's strip in line. We'll take a note when we get down there. Will be an interesting. We'll try and see whether we can notice any difference during the year, but it'll probably be hard to tell, because to see a difference in the crop, there's got to be at least a 30% difference. So you only do it with a yield monitor really, and not sure whether it'll line up with the header strip. This is slightly narrower than the header, so probably a bit hard, but it's still an interesting experiment. We'll fill this up, and then I've got to go home and we'll top up the seed and ferd in the daylight, so we can finish here tonight. That's the plan. And again. And now for something completely the same, some more fert. Well, we definitely got plenty of MAP, plus the carbon granule. So that's the carbon granules, a bit bigger, and it will crunch up a bit. So plenty of MAP, and that might be a tiny bit of SOA in that as well, but not much. So that's all blended. May need to come back for some more wheat, but I think we'll just see how we go. I can easily pull it around and run home for that. even if it was dark, I got a good light over there. So I just might have a coffee and then we'll head out again. Well, we're back at it. So yeah, spend more bloody time loading trucks than actually seeding these days. That's what it feels like. But I guess that's the way it goes. But hopefully we'll get this wheat in tonight. That would be really, really nice. It's not a bad night for it either. Well, I see Wanda face is back. Beautiful. Blimey. Well, the trash flow of the seed is quite good, but I don't think it's quite this good. So we'll just move these sheets of iron that are blown out here. I reckon that's off the roof there, but around the old Crawford house there, the original one. No one's lived here since the I think 1959. So she's been abandoned for a while. And we just sow right around it and right to the back and front doors. Well, that was a relatively long fill, primarily because I had to get in and shovel some urea and SOA in the blue truck there. Everything else was pretty smooth, but on the bright side, looks like we're probably going to have enough wheat, and they're just enough everything. Well, plenty of map, but yeah, just enough seed probably, and should be just enough urea and SOA to do this job. So we're after midnight and we're nearly finished. We only got to, well, maybe it might end up being another hour, but just got to top this up and yeah, get back to it. First world problems, we ran at our range point. Ran out, had no GPS for a round or so. That was fun, having to actually steer it myself. What the hell is the world coming to? Bloody hell. Oh, next thing they want me to actually pay attention. So this is fun. Shoveling urea out of the just at the end of the truckload at 12:30 in the morning. Nice! Well, it's now 1 o'clock. Time to move these out of the road so I can finish this paddock, or hopefully. Just move them across the other side of the road and get them once it's finished, or we go home. Alright, oh baby, let's get going. Let's knock this weed over if we can. Well, doing the last headland, so I don't know whether it'll be quite enough to do the final strip, so 3 widths should get it all, but should have enough to get back to the corner. Then I'll have to have a look, but if not, well, just a matter of bringing a little bit down in the morning and finishing, but well, later this morning. But we'll see how we go. Well, now to stop and have a look and see whether we've got enough to finish or whether it's going to wait a few hours. I know, it's going to be close. Hopefully the last of the wheat, just have to double check that it didn't run out, but shouldn't have. It shouldn't be enough. So good job done, I hope. Well, it's all good, so let's get out of here. It's 3 o'clock, so, and I've still got to come back and get both trucks. Oh, one truck home. That's it. It's been a long day. Over and out. Good night.